Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining me. Some of our friends have been in touch with us with questions on the subject of love and how love fits into the non-dual understanding of our life and highest potentials. This is a sensitive and significant subject, so before we come to our meditation practices today, I think it would be helpful to reflect on it together. Firstly, why do questions arise concerning human love and the non-dual teachings? We may have heard that on the path to enlightenment, it is necessary to free ourselves from desires and preferences that bind us to particular people or things and distract us from what is universal and eternal. Also, we might have understood that to progress towards inner illumination, we need to revise our understanding of what we are, that we should let go of the feeling that I am my mind and my emotions, and instead be convinced that the real self is the one being and light in all. If we have heard such indications, we may wonder whether applying the non-dual teachings means that we have to give up love. If love involves strong feelings and connections with other human beings. This might make us ask ourselves whether we wish to pursue the non-dual inquiry. And we may even wonder if there could be something misguided about teachings that seem to be incompatible with human love. When such questions come up in our mind, it is best to think them through clearly. So we need to ask, firstly, what is love? And secondly, what is non-duality? And then we can consider how they are related. What then do we mean by love? Often, when we say we love something or someone, it means that we intensely like or enjoy them. Sometimes, love means a kind of identification. It is the feeling that the loved one is almost inseparable from us and part of what we are. If we take much pleasure in something, we're willing to sacrifice other concerns for its sake, perhaps without even thinking that it's a sacrifice at all. This is an important lesson on the path to wisdom. The feeling of being inseparable from the beloved is exemplified in a mother's tenderness for a newborn child and is occasionally experienced in romantic encounters. These forms of human love appear as symbols of beauty and transformative power in art and literature. They present the possibility of finding absorption in a whole that transcends the boundaries of narrow individuality. Next, then, what is the non-dual view of life and the world? It is that our questions and difficulties arise because of an incomplete and faulty understanding of our own true nature. What is the ultimate truth about our nature? It is that our real self, our I, is the self of all that ever was, is, and ever will be. This self cannot be contained in any thought or theory, but it can be known directly as the uncaused cause or the unsustained sustainer of the mind and all experience. The practical path involves understanding these teachings in principle and adjusting our priorities, thoughts, and actions accordingly. Then, through inner inquiry and meditation, new light is allowed into our inner world. The final goal, the ultimate discovery, is enlightenment, and it may also be called infinite bliss. We have already seen ways in which human beings can learn dedication and self-expansion through the experience of love, understood as both an intense liking and a deep bond. But there may be some anxiety in our mind that at a certain stage on the inner path, we will be required to renounce fervent enjoyments and enduring bonds in order to pass on towards the summit, the direct experience of the one reality in all. One thing is certain: we can be sure that we will never have to give up an attitude of loving kindness to humanity in general. According to all the well-known moral codes, the ideal is benevolent goodwill to everyone equally, whether they are friends or opponents, family or strangers. Similarly, we need not fear that one day we might be called on to abandon love of ideals like justice or peace, nor is there any reason to think that we might have to forego dedication to a good cause, such as charity, science, learning, art, public service, or creative enterprise. But the noble injunction that we should love all equally may heighten the concern that we might be prohibited from loving someone in particular. And while it is certainly possible to love an ideal or cause, love for human beings is a special case, because then their life and emotions are involved. We may be loved in return. So, in order to fully resolve the concerns that have been raised, we must ask whether, in following the non-dual teachings towards their final conclusion, there will come a point where it is necessary to cease having special, loving relations with individual human beings. The answer in brief is no. Mutually supportive human relationships are not incompatible with any phase of the non-dual teachings. A belief that they are incompatible might arise from two misunderstandings. One is the idea that some essential and natural features of human life are intrinsically impure and obstructive to the development of our highest potentials. This is not so. All forms of healthy vitality can be expressed wisely and progressively. The other misunderstanding is that love and what is called detachment or inner independence are opposites, In fact, pure love and right detachment are facets of one priceless treasure. As we saw, the great challenge to which the non-dual teachings offer a response is that so long as we lack inner illumination, we have an incomplete and distorted view of reality, and in particular of our own nature. This is because all our experience of the world comes through our individual mind, which is a detail in reality and capable of grasping only fractions of the whole. So, whereas reality is one and undivided, we experience myriad limitations and divisions. At the center of this experience is the view of ourself as a separate conscious entity, isolated from the whole and defined by the limitations of the mind. The essential truth is that the gaps and limitations belong to appearances, not reality. So our own true nature is the infinite reality, not the apparent separation. Is it possible to transcend the range of the mind and discover our identity with the infinite? Yes, friends, it is. Because of another vital truth, which is that what we have called ultimate reality is conscious, or rather is consciousness absolute. Our own consciousness, our self, is not in essence different from that universal consciousness, the substratum of the mind and all experience, and can be revealed as such through the practice of discernment and inner inquiry, rightly guided. Now then, let us consider this suggestion. In order to know our true self, it is necessary to give up relationships with other people and to live in solitude or a special community. To say this would imply that there is something fundamentally different about each of those circumstances. But this cannot be the non-dual teaching. To assert, for example, that sharing a home with a life partner could prevent us from knowing ultimate reality, or that living in a hermitage might help us to do so, is to say that the shared home and the hermitage each have a connection with reality, a connection that is helpful in one and obstructive in the other. That is helpful in one case and obstructive in the other. In truth, as we saw, the supreme reality has no real connection with anything finite, being infinite and undivided. How could there be something else for it to be connected to? The finite forms we experience through our mind differ essentially from the infinite reality beyond the mind, and this applies to all phenomena equally. It cannot be said that some situations are closer to or further from ultimate reality than others. It is not the circumstances that determine the inner path we follow. Whether we choose or find ourselves in partnerships or solitude or community, we may continue to believe that we are defined by the roles our body and mind play in the world. Or we can pursue the inner inquiry into our deeper nature. The practical path then involves looking on the mind as something other than our innermost self. This is what is meant by being detached from our thoughts and feelings and not identified with them. What does this imply for our relations with those around us? Could it make us indifferent and cold? No, because being detached and disidentified with our mind and body does not mean not caring about them. In fact, this objectivity helps us to understand the true value of our body and mind. The ultimate liberation is possible in a human life and nowhere else. This heightened appreciation of what is most valuable in our physical and mental nature will extend to those around us and enhance those relationships, not impair them. It's human nature to care about what affects us personally. Some people affect us deeply and intimately, and where they do so positively, we find what is called love. It follows that those who do not touch our lives in this way remain outside the circumference of our affection. And if it happens that we cease to feel positively affected, that our wants and needs are no longer being fulfilled, then commitment and love are seen to fade. This is why human relationships have all the scope they do for gladness and also sadness. Through our inquiry and meditation practices, we grow in understanding and the firm conviction that what is most truly ourself is the inner conscious essence. And this becomes the center of our attention and care. Then naturally we will be closest on this innermost level to those with whom we share our personal lives. The fabric of our relationships will be interwoven with what cannot change, where there can be no decline or lack of fulfillment. There is then nothing fundamentally wrong with caring most for what affects us personally. From it, we learn the paramount truth that self is the object of the highest love. This great lesson sets us on the way to fulfilling life's highest potential. Direct knowledge of our true self as the infinite supreme being. As we approach this, loving those around us as ourself ceases to be a distant ideal and becomes the living truth. then we know that love is not something that we do or have. Love is what we are. I hope you find these reflections helpful, and you're welcome to be in touch if you have any questions. Now, let us come to our meditation practices today. As before, this is a group of practices arranged in steps. A structured set like this is ideal for our regular meditation time. We begin with a preparation. Outwardly, we find a suitable place and a helpful posture for meditation, and we wish to adjust inwardly as well. While we are active in the world, we are obliged to give much attention to what comes through our senses and how to react. At the time of meditation, we turn our attention inwardly. This inward turn is not an attempt to escape from reality, but to look beyond appearances to what underlies them. This time, let us prepare by focusing for a few moments on this thought. Day and night are revealed by one inner light. Reverence to that light. Day and night are revealed by one inner light. Reverence to that light. Now, let us breathe a little more slowly and deeply than usual. After each in-breath, if you can, hold the breath for a moment, then breathe out. Before the next in-breath, again pause for a moment. Gently practice concentrating by keeping your attention on your breath. Without any strain, breathe in this way. In, pause, out, pause. Keeping the attention on the breath. conscious breathing. In breath, pause, out breath, pause. Bring your attention to the heart center. Now visualize a light shining there. Let's do this together. We visualize a light shining in the region of the heart. A light shining in the region of the heart. Now see the light spreading all around and becoming brighter and brighter until all forms are dissolved in it. So we visualize the light spreading all around so that everything is dissolved in that light. Light is spreading all around. Everything dissolves in that light. We are going to meditate together on this text. I am one with the infinite power of love. I am truth. I am bliss. These words point to the heart of what we were reflecting on earlier. In meditation, we hold our attention on the text so that its significance can be gradually revealed and assimilated into the deeper layers of our mind. Let's meditate together now for 5 minutes. Absorb your attention in this. I am one with the infinite power of love. I am truth. I am bliss. I am one with the infinite power of love. I am truth. I am bliss. I am one with the infinite power of love. I am truth. I am bliss. I am truth. I am bliss. Just as we began with an inner adjustment, it is helpful to close our practice session by consciously preparing our mind to resume our roles in the world. We can do so by taking up this thought for a few moments. May everyone, everywhere, find what is best for them. May everyone, everywhere, find what is best for them. Thank you for being with me today.